Hello to my wonderful art students. I sure am missing your faces and our time in the art room at Oak Meadow. I'm very glad that we are able to get together in my studio at my home and do art class online still. We decided to put together some online art classes so that you can continue to do art with me, and we put together art supply packets for pickup on Monday, and so you should have been able to pick that up in your go home packs. It's okay, not a problem at all. Just grab whatever art supplies you do have and do your own inspiration art with the subject that we will be using today, whether you have crayons or markers or colored pencils or chalk or oil pastels. Anything works fine. Just we much more care about you doing something creative than making sure you have all of the perfect supplies. Art can turn out really cool when it's not planned. So I want to let you know the artists that I have picked for our lessons are some of my very favorite current artists. I didn't pick artists like the masters that have been gone for hundreds of years like we usually work on in class. This is a time that we all need a lot of encouragement, and support from community and online community has been fantastic. So I picked artists that I love, that I've learned a lot from, and are a great inspiration to me, but they also happen to be doing a lot of classes and free videos and things online, so that if you find an artist that really inspires you, then you can continue to follow them on social media or anything like that. So a lot of them are even offering classes for free, and they're uplifting and encouraging. And during this time when we all need encouragement while we're practicing social distancing and being indoors, it's a perfect way to get inspired with some new artists. So the other thing I loved about the artists that I picked is most of them love to paint these really amazing outdoor scenes. They use bright, vivid colors, and they're just very alive and fun. So I wanted to have people that would inspire you. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I have over the years. Before we begin, I want you to know that this is no different than in class. This is your free expression. This is your time to express yourself in your art. And it's always amazing, no matter what. I don't grade your art. I just love to see what you all do, and I can't wait to see what you're doing in these lessons. I do want to give a thank you to John at Azel Art Supply. He gave us about 200 or more of the watercolor packets with the watercolor dot cards. There's about 6 colors in them, and they're very vibrant and bright. And he gave them to Oak Meadow to help our students to continue to work on their art. So if you need art supplies, I'm sure you can give him a ring and see if he can put together something your parents can pick up. If they are out and about, they can just order it and go for pickup. So this lesson is specifically for 5th grade, but you are more than welcome to go try any of the 6 lessons that I will be posting. They are not specific to the grade. I just found things that I thought would be what the kids would like per grade, but you're welcome to do any of them. So as we move into our slides, today we are going to paint a watercolor landscape painting that is inspired by Caleb Sinchak. He is a watercolor artist that is based in Columbus, Ohio, and he is, for the most part, a self-taught artist. He's been what he calls messing around with watercolors for about 4 years now. So on the next slide, you'll see watercolor is his main media that he uses, but he also does like to use acrylics and oils sometimes. He also uses a medium that's called gouache. It's still in the watercolor family. It just has more of a chalky base to it, so it's more opaque in its appearance like an acrylic or an oil would be, but you can re-wet the product and move it again when you can't do that with oils and acrylics once they dry. So his clouds are stunning. I mean, his work is amazing. So you can go look at him on Instagram. Everything just looks really magical amidst the ordinary every day. So here's some of his work on Instagram. I'll just have scroll through this, and you can see his clouds and his he has some live videos that he was painting on craft paper, which is really neat. He uses any kind of medium and surface, but when you paint with gouache, it is very flexible and it does paint opaque on top of each other. So that's a great product if you guys want to order some and have some come home and learn about some new art supplies. He has fantastic pieces, little tiny ones that he does, like this one with the galaxy in his hand. I just think that's beautiful. And he does have videos that you can watch to be inspired by him and learn some really good techniques. So that is him, Art by Cinch, on Instagram, if you want to go take a look. And we will get back to our slides now. So our next slide, Caleb's favorite part about painting is bringing something from his imagination to life. Being able to visualize ideas and concepts is something that has always interested him about art. On our next slide, he says that painting brings joy to his life and he does wish to share it with others. So never stop learning. In our next slide, they just have a variety of things that he does. You can do bookmarks. He does those little wooden circles or cutout circles. Just lots of, in pretty much any surface he can find to paint on, he will paint on. He doesn't just stick with watercolor paper. So the next slide is the lesson that we will be doing. This is a landscape with beautiful clouds and hot air balloons. I thought it would be a lot of fun. I love hot air balloons, so we're going to have a great time. And so on the next slide, your distance learning folders that went home, if you did any pickup, they would have had a piece of watercolor paper and the core watercolor dot card, not the one in the picture of the ones I made for kinder through second. These are professional watercolor paints. And there's a test strip in there for you to sample your colors in a paintbrush. What I need you to gather together, like when you come to class, I already have everything sitting out ready for you. So if you can gather some things together and have your table set and ready with 2 water containers, you can use anything. I prefer to use clear glass so that I can see if my water is starting to get muddy looking. We don't ever want to mix muddy water back in to pick up paint because then it immediately makes your paint muddy looking on your art instead of it looking bright and vibrant. Need a plate so we can mix some colors, preferably a white plate so that you can see the true color that you have mixed. Then you'll need a pencil and some paper towels. I also like to grab a piece of like cardboard from the back of notebook paper or the back of a binder or something like that that nobody's using anymore. I just cut it off of there and get some masking tape or painter's tape or frog tape. All of those work very well so that we can tape our paper down. Not duct tape, not scotch tape. Those will not work. But it's great to keep your paper taped down so that the paper doesn't rumple when it's wet and it dries flat again. And the cool part about us doing class this way is that you can pause your video and go back to catch up on what you might have missed. And you can do it over and over again until you get the hang of it. There's no rush. So take as long as you need to really feel good about what you're painting. And I can't wait to see your masterpiece. So on our last slide, this is the demo that I did as my teacher example. It doesn't look quite as bright as Caleb's does. I don't know how he does that, but we'll do our best. And once you have completed your beautiful masterpiece, I want you to sign it at the bottom left or right. And just super proud of you. You've worked really hard to make your art. And so give it a little bit of flourish and really use your hand here. And just like Caleb has done, we will post ours online. If you can post it on Instagram or Facebook on the Oak Meadow Elementary PTA page. And we will use the hashtag SaddleUpMavs and hashtag Rooted Oak Meadow so that everybody can come together like we do in class, where I always say I want you to encourage yourself and encourage your friends. We don't want to be negative about our art. Art is art. It's awesome. And I love to get to see your own heart come out into your art, as you know. So we want to continue that in our distance learning and then be able to encourage our friends and give uplifting comments and share in community still. So at least even though we're kind of far apart right now, we still feel close together. So next video will be the process video. If you can get your supplies ready, and then you can click on the next link to get started, and let's have fun and go make some art.